So we've been in our new build for about 2.5 weeks now, and I think it's time to talk about snagging, everybody's favorite topic, especially when it comes to new builds. If you're new here, I'm Nyssa, and I've been documenting part of the process of moving into a new build and decorating it, furnishing it, that kind of thing. So definitely check out my other videos. I don't know whether it's going to be on this side or this side, so we'll find out later. I could have pointed at the wrong side, sorry. Aww, Daisy's just climbed into a little cardboard box. I'll show you. As you can see, we don't have a dining table yet, so Daisy has her toys right in the middle of the kitchen, and I think she just tested out the box for size. She's not too keen. Although there is some new rubbish around the corner, so that's probably what she's going to check out. It's another cardboard box and a plastic bag, that's it. Okay, so where was I? Yes, so there is a playlist with all the videos of stuff to do with new build, and there's some other videos on there. We've done a little bit of like trolley kind of things, so feel free to check it out. Right, I had to make a list today because there is quite a number of things that we wrote down for snagging. However, they are all minor. There's nothing, we've not come across anything major, which is great. So when you move into a new build, the very first sort of move-in day where your salesperson takes you round, they actually have a checklist that they go through. They get you to check absolutely everything. So they get you to check appliances, doors and windows, make sure everything shuts and locks, test out all the keys. As much as you can, they get you to check, and then they do explain a few other things as well. So there was quite a big list of things to go through. However, there is a time period. I think ours was like 10 days, or it might have been 14 days. I'm not 100%, but we did get a period of time after getting the keys to add on any other bits of snagging, because you are not going to see everything immediately. Sometimes you'll be putting something away, or you'll walk past something, or you'll catch something in a different light and you'll spot it and you'll be like, ooh, I need to note that down, or I need to email so-and-so. So don't expect to find everything on your first look around your property. So if you're buying a new build, first tip. Some of the stuff that we spotted, we did spot immediately. Some of the stuff has cropped up over the past 2 weeks. Some stuff has actually been fixed and still has an issue. So yeah, I think a couple of the things on our list are still due to have somebody come in to fix them. So I can definitely show you a couple of the things as they currently stand, and then some things have been dealt with already. So I'll just kind of walk you through my list. It shouldn't take too long. Like I said, everything is super minor, so you won't be watching this video for the next hour, hopefully. I don't know what time this is going to end up editing to, but hopefully it'll be quite short. One thing we did do now, my partner Danny, he has done a fair bit of like DIY before, but I will add on that his brother is a joiner, so he works on houses pretty much every day and buildings. So when he came over, he did a second look around the property and noticed some things that we didn't notice. We didn't pay for a professional snagger. We didn't really see the point. Maybe that's not the way people would advise, I don't know. But I think the plus point is the site that we're on has, like the site manager has won an award 2 years running. They're also going for a higher standard of recognition too. So we knew right off the bat that it was going to be a good site and a good build to a certain extent. And also we have visited several different sites from the same developer, and they have all impressed us. We've not really seen any major issues. Another thing I will note is this is like the one thing I use Facebook for. I actually joined the like Facebook groups for not only the area, but also the developer. And I think one of them was the developer's name plus nightmares, because I wanted to know what people were complaining about. And I was like, if they're going to complain, they're going to do it on Facebook. I saw very, very little complaints, very little. The biggest one was site specific, and it was not our site. But that was kind of really the only one I saw. Everything else has been super, super minor. So we weren't really too fussed about getting a professional snagger in. Right, so with my intro over, I'm going to walk you through some of the issues. So the most part are going to be in the kitchen. So to start with, we have a pretty long board here, a plinth, which goes under the counters, under the cabinet, sorry. Now this piece did not fully join, and you can kind of see a little gap there, which has now been touched up. When we snagged it originally, there was a gap, and it was quite a noticeable gap. Pretty much everybody that walked in to the kitchen had spotted it. So that was one thing that we did snag and has been sort of fixed. They don't actually sell a plinth in the full length. So what they've done is they've had a look at it, realised there wasn't any screws in the back, and they've also done a little bit of a touch up to join. And very kindly, they did leave us the worktop joint, sealant and laminate repair. So if it does, you know, sort of show a little bit of a crack again, we do have the right tool to fix it up ourselves, which is great. Now the next one is to do with the cooker hood. So you can kind of see a bit of a darker sheen over here. So this has actually been fixed, but basically there were some vertical scratches all the way up here. We've been told that it is an actual issue with that style of cooker hood, because apparently what they do is it's in two pieces and one piece slides down, and then because of the material it just naturally scratches. So we've had that touched up. They did a really great job. You can't even see it now. It's just a slight bit darker, but no one's going to notice that. It's much more sightly than the scratches. So that's the next thing. We did also, I can't show you this one, but where our cupboards are, just like on the corner on one of them, there was almost like a little pinhole, and you could kind of see the finish lifting. It was almost like when you have a hole in a bit of piece of plastic and you kind of pull it and it kind of stretches. It kind of looked like that. I'm not sure how it happened. We wouldn't have noticed it. It was on the edge, on the inside edge, so there's no way we would have noticed it on our first visit. But I think they call him the plastic surgeon, but he comes and fixes those little niggly bits. You know, if something needs fully replacing, then they'll get a joiner in. But yeah, if it's just a niggly bit, they get a plastic surgeon to come in and fix it. Now, this one might be a little bit difficult to show you. I don't know if it is going to show up on camera. Oh, you can kind of just see it here. So there is a very long, very sort of straight-ish looking scratch on the countertop. Now, this isn't obviously a major issue or anything, but it was something we wanted to get noted, mainly because if for some reason it has scratched the finish, if we drop anything or you know, have anything on the counter that has the potential to stain, we don't want, like, you know, like tomato sauce or something. We don't want to end up with like a pinky red line down our sort of white countertop. So that was something that we definitely flagged and made sure that they were aware of. So now this is the back side of the breakfast bar, and this is going to be really, really difficult to see. There is a little bit of a bubble showing just here on the finish. Now again, that one is what looks to be very, very minor. Now the issue is we reported it, the plastic surgeon came and fixed it. My mum and dad were both here on the day that he came, and she checked it once he had done and said that it was perfectly flat, and she was like, he's done a really good job, blah, blah, blah. However, when we got home from work and checked it, it had re-bubbled up. Not an issue in terms of current. However, with it being a bubble up, that has the potential to grow and get bigger. And the one thing we don't want to happen is for that whole panel to end up getting affected over time. So I think, don't quote me on this, but I think what is happening is they have ordered a new back piece of wood to replace it. So hopefully it's going to be minimal repair work in terms of disruption, I guess. Because one thing we didn't want to do, we didn't want to rip out the whole breakfast bar just for that tiny piece. However, we are a bit concerned that with bubbling, you know, you see it with like phone screen cases and phone screens, phone protector screens, whatever they're called. You see it with them, and you know, you start with like one bubble and then a few weeks later you get a couple more, and then you get a couple more, and then it just looks like it just looks terrible. So I know it's not a phone screen case, but phone protector screen, phone screen protector, is that the right word? So we know it's not that. However, I don't know enough about kitchens to know what the potential of that is. So we've reported it. We've not been sort of irritated by it or anything. We're just letting them know that the plastic surgeon came, fixed it, it's rebubbled up. So it's obviously not going to get fixed by him. So I think it just needs a new piece of wood. Now the next bit, we've got some windows with scratches. Now on the patio doors, we do have, where am I here? Oh, there we go. We've got a bit of a scratch. And it is a genuine scratch. It's not like inside the glass or anything. So that we have a few scratches on a few panes. So both patio doors, one has the noticeable scratch I just showed you, and the other one has a black mark inside the window pane. And then on top of that, the little square windows here, they don't sit plumb. So when you stand outside and have a look at them, they are slightly at an angle. It's almost like they're dipping inwards into the center. And then we did notice this a little bit after the original snag list. The patio doors are now, they've basically dropped and they're catching on the bottom latch, which is a bit of a problem. So they are going to look at the patio doors and see what they can do to either fix that, realign them, whatever. So that's I think all that we had for the kitchen. Yep. Working through my list. For the downstairs toilet, one thing we did notice is that the water was sort of like filling back up into the toilet when you flushed it. So you would flush it and then it would fill with water and then it would go down. So there's a bit of an issue with the water pressure. One was the toilet that we noticed. The other one, just in general, when we moved in, we were like, the water pressure seems a bit low. What's going on there? Now, from what we've been told, we've had the developers come out and have a look at the water pressure. We've also had Yorkshire Water, because we do live in Yorkshire. We've had them out to also have a look at the water pressure, and they had noticed that our house was getting a little bit less pressure than it should have been doing, but that the whole site is on a slightly lower water pressure because it's still an active construction site. They don't want to pump too much water into the site, because if for some reason something, you know, you end up with a burst pipe or something, then you've got higher water pressure to deal with. So we've sort of had these conversations. Our neighbours also had similar issues. On the Facebook group chat, I checked in with everybody, and a lot of people have had the same issues. So it is kind of a site thing, but it's not a major issue. Like, we've still got water, we've still got, you know, we can run the dishwasher, we can run the washing machine, we can have a decent shower. It's not really an issue, but if everybody's running things at the same time, that's when we notice there's a major dip in the water pressure. So on to the next thing. So we've got the ceiling. You can tell, I'm quite impressed because this is all sort of white and beige at the moment, but we've had some replastering kind of done on the ceiling. So when we had a look at it, there was a couple of little spots kind of going on in the living room, and we noticed that it's very hard to see with white. Walls are white, ceiling's white. It's very hard to see. But in certain daylight and, you know, just like having the actual lights on in the room, we noticed that there was a bit of a wibble. So you'd have like a straight edge and then it would kind of go all wobbly towards the end. And I think what they've had maybe an issue with that piece of plasterboard that's gone up. Is it plasterboard? I don't know what it's called. Whatever that big board is that they put on the ceilings, because it kind of runs, I don't know if you can see, no, it's because it's face tracking me, I apologize, but it kind of runs up and then down, so it does definitely follow the lines of that piece of board. So they've come in, replastered those little sections just to make sure it's nice and smooth, and then they'll come back once it's fully dried and repaint it. Now for the thing that I think Danny is the most irritated by. Like, most irritated by. He's definitely a bit of a perfectionist and likes everything to be just so. However, this one really bothered him, I think. We paid for an extra 3 Ethernet ports. The reason why we paid, A, we both game. B, not majorly, by the way. Don't come to me for gaming stuff. I just do it as a casual gamer. But we do both game. We both are quite tech heavy people, I guess. I've got the YouTube channel, so I'm processing that and uploading things. What else? I'm obviously working on a website as well, so that'll be eating into some data. So what we did, we were like, okay, well, if we have kids and the kid wants to game or anything, blah, 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 and we don't want to rely on the Wi-Fi, or, you know, something happens with the Wi-Fi or whatever, we do have extra Ethernet ports. So we've got one in the room that was going to be the study. We've got one in the sort of guest bedroom. And then the other bedroom we actually left blank. I think we were going to use that one as the guest bedroom and the other one as like a potential kids room. But they put wardrobes in what is now the guest room. So that's where all our clothes are. We've utilised that. So I think that one might actually end up being the guest room. But there is Ethernet in there. Now, we also requested for Ethernet to be put in the loft because Danny wanted to install like a CCTV package, which I think is a great idea. It's in the loft. It's, you know, no one's going to be up there. It's a great place for it. However, they were like, well, we can't do that. We can't install an Ethernet port and a light because it's not an inhabitable room. And we were like, we're not planning on inhabiting it. We just want to put our CCTV package up there and have a light to see what we're doing. And they kind of argued with us about it. And the solution was to have an Ethernet port under the stairs instead. Now, when the electrician was here, you know, doing all the electrics when it was still being built, and he followed like the original instruction, which was to put the Ethernet port in the loft. And now that's great. It meant we got a free Ethernet port. So we paid for 3 additional ones. We got 4. Because we still got the one under the stairs. We got one put in the loft, and then we had one in 2 of the bedrooms. But when we moved in, none of them worked, which is irritating. If we hadn't paid for that, fine, whatever. I mean, obviously we would have done in some way, shape, or form, but if we hadn't paid extra for that, fine, their issue, that they have to fix. However, we have paid for them. They sent the electrician out. He couldn't get any of them to work. The electrician came out on a second run. We have tested 2 of them that work, which is great. I don't recall if Danny has tested the one under the stairs yet, and I don't know if he's tested the one in the loft. So I think at the moment confirmed we've got 2 out of the 4 Ethernet ports working. If we only end up with 3 working out of the 4, that's fine, that's what we paid for, but what we don't want is only 2 out of the 4. So that one's an ongoing issue. But we had a solution for how to access them, because we built this lovely bookcase and TV unit, and all of the cables are behind here. So what we've done is at the back of here we have put we've cut out a bit of the back panel and put some hinges on so that we can actually still access all the cables. It's not going to fully lift at the moment. I think we've got stuff in the way, but we can access all of the sockets. So if the electrician comes back, he can still access the Ethernet port. If we want to plug one in, we can still access it. Also, that's where the TV aerial is. Now, we have not yet purchased a TV aerial, therefore we have not purchased a TV license, although we already got our first "your home doesn't have a TV license" letter, which was really funny because we were like, well, we know, A, it's a new build, B, we haven't bought an aerial, so we haven't purchased a TV license, which is quite funny. So, yeah, I can't wait for the day that they come round and they're like, hey, you shouldn't be watching TV without a TV license. And we'll just be like, yeah, but we don't have an aerial and we don't watch BBC iPlayer or anything like live TV kind of gist-wise. We're hardcore like Netflix, Amazon, Disney people. / we also have DVDs. We really don't watch TV very much, even when we had access to a TV, live TV, we didn't really watch it. So, yeah, we'll come to that bridge when we cross it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I said it the wrong way around. But yeah, I think it's funny that we got our first warning letter. But yeah, we don't have a TV aerial. So if we do decide to get one in the future, which we most likely will, because if our parents come and watch the pets while we're away on holiday or anything, they'll most likely want to have live TV access. So we'll get one eventually. But that little cutout helps us for the future. So anything else that really got snagged was things like the banister and the walls had like odd little scuff marks, things like that. So we've had those like little paint touch-ups done. We also have a few windows upstairs that have scratches on them. So they're looking at getting them replaced for us, which is great. And then I think the only other thing that I can recall that was on our snagging list was some of the drainage pipes were not sat correctly, so they wouldn't have drained correctly. So they've been fixed as well, which is great. But on the whole, the developer has done a fantastic job of following up, keeping in touch, sorting out dates, getting things organized, and actually actioning them. I don't think we've majorly chased anything yet. I think the biggest thing was the water pressure, because they basically said that it was how it should be, but we were like, seems a bit low. So we did kind of like go a little bit extra on a couple of things, but other than that, the house has very, very, very minimal issues, and most of them are minor. There's not many issues, and they're very minor ones. And I don't have like a wall falling down or anything. I've not got any flooding or anything like that. So I think we're very lucky. But I think we also chose builders quite wisely. There was a number of builders where we went to the show homes and we walked in and we were like, if this is the state of your show home, I don't want to see what your finished home looks like. One show home we went to, I won't name the builder, but we actually went to them and there was a broken picture frame on the wall. And I was like, if you don't have time to fix it, just take it off the wall. So it's those little attention to detail pieces. Also, looking at the price of your home sometimes gives you an indication of sort of what caliber they are, but also look at, if they've won any awards, what their sort of standard is. Check out the Facebook groups that are designed to complain about said builder. Check in with the area as well, because there might not be an issue with the builder, but there might be an issue in the area, as I do find it very, very useful. And it really helped us decide on whether it was going to be the right area for us. But yeah, I think that's that's everything. I don't really have anything else to tell you about snagging at the moment, so I hope that this video was useful for you, especially if you're also looking at getting a new build and you're not really sure what to do or decide. But I also think it's really good to talk about the realities of what it's like to move in to somewhere and what kind of legwork we put in advance to try and make sure that we've got a decent home and chose a decent location. Because I think a lot of things nowadays, you see all the sort of perfect finished results and nobody really talks about the issues because they don't want to, and they don't want things to seem like they're a challenge. But I think it's good to talk about the realities. So I genuinely really hope that this video was useful, and if it was, please give me a little thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, please do so, and hopefully check the little notifications box, because there's going to be so much more to share with you. I'm going to share some like organization stuff. We're currently in the process of reaching out to someone to see if we can get a custom dining table built. Whether that's going to be out of our price range or not, I'm not too sure, so stay tuned. But I'm going to be sending them the email tonight with lots of reference photos, etc. Because we're picky people and we haven't found anything we like, so we've reached out to a custom wood carpenter, wood shop. I don't know what you call them. But anyway, they do wood furniture. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more to share with you, and I'm excited to do so. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.